Greetings, this is starseescotty sharing an astrological horoscope for March the 9th, 2019. Let's have a look at the chart of the day. Oh, how do I do this again? There we go. Screen share. All right, so here we are. And get the little circle annotation. So right now the moon is at 27 Aries. And it's been making a trine to Jupiter and Sagittarius, fire trine. It's been nice. Uranus has been in Aries for the last 10 years, and Uranus just entered into Taurus. So the moons are going to be approaching Taurus soon. That's going to be the first time for like 80 years, this new cycle of Uranus. Where is this? There we go. Circles. So the thing that's coming a lot today, I notice, is Mars is making a lot of aspects. Well, first of all, the moon. I always like to focus on the moon first because it's the fastest moving body in the solar system. So the trine to Jupiter is nice because the impulsive nature of Aries is expanded with Jupiter and Sagittarius, so that our instincts can help us to explore and just see the bigger picture, learn things, go outside, travel more. So that's good. But the moon has been a little bit earlier in the day. It's been squaring Pluto in Capricorn, and that's highlight to last Uranus being squaring Pluto last 5 years ago, or for several years. So yeah, that's definitely an intense aspect because Aries wants to be independent, and Pluto and Saturn want conformity, control, very much associated with the government and businesses, corporations, and they're actually in a conjunction. They're only 4 degrees apart, and the south node is there. You can't. It's not on this chart, but you see where the north node in Cancer at 25. The south node is at 25 Capricorn. So yeah, that's just bringing up really like past life, or at least karmic. Because I've heard that when Pluto conjoins south node in Capricorn, that's the first time for 500 years. So that's really going back to different legacies, because yeah, I mean, we've been living in this patriarchy for thousands of years, and it's definitely changing. I see a lot of innovation, but something that's been going on for thousands of years doesn't just end overnight. They say it's darkest before dawn, and there's been a lot of things shoved under the carpet, so to speak, in our collective unconscious, and that would really resonate to Neptune. Sun has been conjoining Neptune. I'll just erase this. Sun has been conjoining Neptune last few days. So there's Neptune at 16 degrees and the Sun at 19 degrees. And what I say about the collective unconscious has very much been resonating because Neptune is, well, actually the Sun has been exactly sextiling Saturn, which is really nice. But it can bring up the nature of truth and delusion. That's what Neptune's all about. And reality, which would be Saturn, and then Neptune, the Sun, Pisces would be dreams, what our imagination, what our hopes are, the 12 houses. Well, it's kind of, there's many ways to interpret it, but it's definitely kind of what our dream of, that we know that we can create heaven on earth, because Neptune is the oversoul of Venus. Neptune is a very transcendental planet. Saturn is similarly, it's more consensus planet. according to evolutionary astrology. So it's about Saturn's more about society, rules, laws, fitting in, boundaries, control. But they can work together, I really feel. There was a movie I watched called Captain Marvel, and it was released right when the sun was exactly conjoining Neptune. And it's about this superhero warrior woman who really resonates to Chiron and Aries, because that's about the wounded warrior. And there's this quote in it where she said something like boots on the ground, head in the skies. That would really resonate to this aspect of Saturn, sextile Neptune. Saturn wants us to be practical, earthy. Capricorn's an earth sign. Saturn rules Capricorn. And whereas Neptune kind of wants to see like the unity consciousness. And that's where imagination can take us there. So, yeah, there is shadow sides to that, but that's kind of an interesting aspect. I don't know what this would be called, but Neptune's been sextiling Mars as well. So that's a double Earth sextile. And then a trine. I wonder what the aspect's called. But that's really, really earthy. So I think it's bringing the spiritual energy to the Earth so that we can ground. So big thing for me is grounding in nature. I like to meditate on the beach and sun gaze and things like this. And it's bringing in a spiritual energy through the Earth. Should be Mars in particular would be resonating to that, because Mars is our willpower, what we do with our personal will, and Taurus is values, and it's the first Earth sign, so it's really about just taking care of ourselves, because it comes right after Aries. Aries is more that kind of impulsive masculine energy because it's ruled by Mars. But Taurus is much more feminine because it's ruled by Venus. And that's what just entered into Taurus now. This new 8-year cycle of Uranus and Taurus is really going to be asking us to tap into our desires. It's very personal because Taurus, Libra is more about the relationships of Venus with others, but Taurus is the relationship to ourselves, which is very, very important. How can we love others until we love ourselves first? There's always a balance between the two, which Libra would talk about. But I'm really big on self-care, self-healing. I've been doing decades of dietary practices, and I like to use essential oils and a very natural, plant-based. Been vegan for 15 years, and these are all Taurus, also Virgo, but Taurus. Taurus rules food. Virgo is nutrition, but Taurus can have that as well. So yeah, really Mars is really inviting us, spearing the way through Taurus to kind of be proactive. Mars is, it's not really at home in Taurus, but definitely it's going to start getting things, pushing us out of our comfort zone, because Taurus can be stubborn. It's fixed Earth sign, I believe. So sometimes the Taurus energy can be a little lazy or just laid back. There's definitely ways of looking at it. Relax. So yeah, that trine to Neptune, I think it's just it's giving us a groundedness, so that if we find ways in which we can take care of ourselves and then use that care, that nourishment, when we feel nourished, we can go out to the world, Saturn, we can and work and be satisfied and be efficient. I'm really, really, really big on that. I've pretty much mastered certain dietary things where I make coffee elixirs. I made a little video on my YouTube channel. You might check out. And I've been doing this for about 10 years, as I say, and it works so well, the energy I get from these drinks, that I don't have to eat food, and like 3 meals a day, that kind of thing. And I don't get cravings. The little drinks I have, I take several, once every hour or so. They give me all the energy. I just feel a rush. And there's stimulants in there, but they're natural, it's plant-based. And that really is that's the nourishment of Mars and Taurus, allowing me to perform, because I take it for my work. So I can work really, 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 really efficiently, and also have fun, because the Venus energy is about values. And to me, the ultimate values is feeling bliss, feeling content, satisfied, nourished. And when we exude that personally, we're like we can be inspiration to others. Gandhi said, "Be the change you want to see in the world." It's true. It's so easy to point our finger and say, these. And I catch myself all the time. I see most people just running around, clueless, and I catch myself judging them. But it's not really my place to make a judgment. The most important thing I should be critical of is my own actions, because that's the only thing I can change. Now, if I have friends, I can influence them, I can suggest things and be supportive, but it's not really my right to tell someone to change. And that would kind of be the Saturn Pluto energy, because Pluto is about transformation, and our society is changing, no question. The question is, are we going to go with the collective? Are we going to go with the herd, which would be can be a Capricorn, Aquarius type energy. Aquarius is the group where Venus is right now. And actually, speaking of that, Venus is squaring Mars. Going to be probably in the next few days. So the Venus is at 10 Aquarius, Mars at 15. Yeah, because Venus is faster, I believe, than Mars. So we're probably next week they'll be in an exact square. And these are the two personal planets related to our will and our relationship. But Venus in Aquarius is the relationship to the group, either our community or our friends. And with Mars and Taurus, or that square challenge is the key word. Perhaps it's asking us that, just like what I talked about, if we nourish ourselves, then we can be of service to society. But if we don't take care of ourselves, then it's going to show. We can create conflict. It's an interesting one. I'm not too sure what other Venus is not really making any other aspects. So I think it's really, it's that Venus is really, really pointing to Mars to lead the way, because Mars is ahead of Venus. And Venus in Aquarius is the big picture, is more intellectual. So I think we'll get satisfaction in relationships if we, and because Taurus is a rulership of Venus, it's definitely, I think, asking us about being sensitive. I think with Aquarius, it's very intellectual. It's a mind energy. So if we can find things that we're interested in with our friends, like shared interests, then that can maybe help this tension. Because it's a big world out there, and it's just fascinating. I always fascinated in certain Facebook posts of just really unique things shared, YouTube videos. That's a good example. I really feel connected to the web, Soul Tribe, and I do that by following astrologers and also subjects I'm personally interested in. And you know, and one example that would be, you know, with health. I'm really big on nutrition, superfoods, super herbs, Mars, and that way I can placate the square um, by just, you know, by having a cause. You know, because I feel when we're finding our soul family, we have to feel a unity. So the mantra for Aquarius is unity in diversity. We're united by the unique gifts we have. Taurus is quite known for, you know, it's very personalized. So there's something that we have. We all have a gift that nobody else has, because every single one of us is completely distinctive. So I think Mars can help us to explore what's unique about us, and Uranus for sure is going to be asking us like, what is our self-worth? What is our uh, what do we want to manifest? Taurus is an Earth, first Earth sign, so it's definitely bringing all of this Aryan. We've kind of found a lot of our different identities, our avatars, and with Aries, Uranus and Aries in the last 10 years. When Taurus is like, what are we going to do with, now we've found parts of our higher self, how are we going to bring it to Earth? How are we going to manifest? How are we going to bring it down to Earth? So, yeah. Mercury is moving on. Mercury is in Pisces, 28 degrees. It just went retrograde recently. And it's very close to Chiron. And that's really, I think, asking us to focus on that healing energy that Chiron is known for, the wounded healer. Pisces, though, is kind of in detriment for Mercury. So I think there's quite a bit of confusion. It's the last degrees of the whole zodiac. So for sure, we're completing something. And with the Sun and Neptune together, there's this very broad, like very cosmic energy. We can very easily get spaced out, and but in the same time, we can maybe explore unknown dreams and fantasies we have that can inspire our creativity and perhaps even help us to heal. That's definitely in the cards. Because healing to me is all about being open, imaginative, and creative. And as you know, Chiron's been in Pisces for the last probably 7 years, so that's really been um, um, yeah. I mean, we've been going deep into the collective unconscious, which Pisces rules, 12th house, with that healing energy, and finding our vulnerability. What is our vulnerabilities? What is our deep fears? What is our sensitivities? That's another shadow of Pisces. But sometimes with the North Node in Cancer, our vulnerabilities can be our strength. And I've learned this a lot. I have Cancer in my 12th house. And it's really opposing Pluto, and that pressure of transformation is is opposed by the calling for us to find family with others and nurturing, because it's trining Mercury. So I think we can, when we, you know, ask for this higher power to help us, whatever we want to call it, God or source creator, or even just our personal higher self, by being empathic, it's really the heart and the feelings are just really, really big with this energy. Because the mind energy of Mercury is just not going to be logical in Pisces, that's for sure. The emotions will definitely have a big influence. And they say the heart, the magnetism of the heart is 100 times more powerful than the brain. Something like that. It's actually something that would be interesting to look for. check this out. Heart versus brain power. See what comes up. There's some kind of, well, I can't really find a quote, but yeah, I probably could. But definitely, there's just a lot of studies that show that the heart has a lot more power than we give credit. We usually see the brain as 40,000 neurons. Yeah, I'll do this another time, I think. I mean, I need to find a specific thing. But that's definitely just for if you're on, you know, you do want to kind of look at it. It's something like 100 times more powerful than the brain. That's the main point I'm trying to make. So, yeah, I think we're just exploring our feelings, how our feelings are going to affect our mind. Definitely, I'm really, really convinced by this. Sometimes, you know, we get upset by something that can affect the rest of our day. Whereas if we have bad thoughts, then we can change those. So I think the feelings come before the thoughts. And when we're just open to the flow of thoughts and feelings, then we can be guided for sure. All right, I'll just leave it in that nice and so yeah. So in the next few hours, when you're on the moon conjuncts Uranus, I think that's going to be a good time to ask ourselves. What is our deepest values? What do we want to explore? How do we want to be different? How do we want to nurture ourselves? And the more we love ourselves, the more we can love others. I'll leave for that today. Thank you for watching. This is Starseed Scotty signing off.